show here at Flamingo Land. Today I'm going to be introducing you to two of the sea lions that we have here. First off, we're starting with Merlin. Now Merlin is a California sea lion. He's 12 years old now, and he joined us from Longley when he was just 2. Now he is a very clever sea lion, this one, but he's not a fan of sitting still, but hopefully we can prove to you just how intelligent these animals can be. Now he does like to start off every show by giving you guys a nice big wave, but before he does that, you all have to wave at him. So everybody stick an arm in the air, wave it around. That's the stuff. Did they get a wave back, Merl? There we go, a lovely big wave to start off the show. Now one other thing before we really do get cracking on with the show is that our sea lions love the sound of clapping. So if you see them giving you a cheeky hint, then please do join in. Yes, that's the right idea. As you can see, Merlin in particular is quite the little show-off here, and he does love that reaction from the audience. We train our sea lions here using a method called positive reinforcement. Now all that means is that every time they do something right, they get some form of reward. Now that reward can be a pat on the back and a bit of attention from the trainer, it can be a piece of fish, or like I said, it can be a clap and a cheer from you guys. Those things all work very well in letting the sea lions know that they've done something right. Now another thing that we use in training is called a target, and that's what I have here. And a target is a very simple device. It's a stick with a coloured spot on one end. And the first thing that sea lions learn when they join us here is to reach out and touch that coloured spot with their nose, like so. Every time they do this, they get some form of positive reinforcement. That's right, I said. So after a while, because you've encouraged that behaviour, they then learn to do this. They'll follow that target end absolutely anywhere with their nose. Now after a while, you can then move on and you can use the target a bit like a lead. You can ask the sea lions to follow you around wherever you need them to go. Now this is very useful if you need to transport the animals. You can then move on to train things like waving and clapping, because they'll touch it with their flippers too. But most of the time we use this device for giving these guys their regular health checks. For example, if I need Merlin to lay down nice and still, I simply place that target end to the ground and he follows it there. Now this just allows us to check the animals over from nose to tail and make sure that they're nice and healthy. And it means that if the vet needs to look at them for any reason, he can do so without the animals becoming nervous or stressed, or without the need for a small cage. Now our Merlin is usually quite the fidget, but he's laid perfectly still there. So well done, Merlin, you can go back to your good boy. So quite a few of the things that we teach our animals are for their benefit rather than our own. For example, if I need to check Merlin's teeth, I don't have to pull his jaws apart, I simply touch him on the chin and he knows to open up. Now this allows us to check inside the mouth and make sure there's nothing in there causing them pain. Go on, say ah. Oh, that was a very quiet one. Ah, there we go, that was a bit better, very well done. That's something he's just learning at the moment. Good boy. Now another thing that we teach all of our animals for health reasons is to blow their nose on command. Now this may seem a bit strange, but sea lions can suffer with a lot of breathing problems, so it's quite important that we can take a sample of breath and make sure that they're nice and healthy inside as well as out. Now normally I would use a sample dish for this. I don't have one with me today, and it doesn't look like Merlin's got his tissues, so what we're going to have to do now is use my hand. Yeah, you got that right. Are we ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Blow. Blow. And again. Blow. Oh, there we go. That was quite disgusting. Okay, moving swiftly on. Now, one thing that we do often get asked here is how do you tell the difference between a sea lion and a seal? Well, the two animals are very similar and they belong to the same family known as the pinniped family, but they are different creatures. And there are a few ways that you can tell them apart. Now, all of the animals that we have here, they are all California sea lions. We don't have any seals here at Flamingo Land. Now, one way to tell is to take a look just behind their eyes at their ears. Now, you'll notice that Merlin has these tiny sticky out ear flaps. Now, these are called pinner, and only sea lions have these. Seals do of course have ears, but there's just a small hole in the same place covered with fur. So if you can see the ears sticking out from the side of the head, then it's a sea lion about the same size as a human hand. So quite a big difference in size there. Sea lions have much larger front flippers. And that brings us on to what is probably the most obvious difference, the way in which they move on land. So Merlin, if you come for a walk with me. Now you'll notice that as Merlin moves around, his front flippers bend in the middle and his back flippers tuck up under the body to lift his entire body up off the ground. Sea lions can run, they can jump, and they can even climb if they need to. They're quite agile on land, they move quickly and comfortably. However, a seal can't move in this way. A seal moves a bit more like this. Are you ready, Merlin? Take a quick dip, and then when you come back, let's have your seal impression. Are you ready? How does the seal move? Yes, a bit like this. They wriggle along on their bellies, much like a giant caterpillar. And that's because they don't have the size or the power in the two front flippers to be able to stand up. A brilliant seal impression, Merlin. Very well done. Yes, and that's another thing. A seal cannot flap because its flippers aren't big enough to meet in the middle. Yes, just like that, Merlin. Now, something else that a seal wouldn't be able to do is a front flipper stand. And that's because seals swim by moving their back flippers from side to side, whereas sea lions propel themselves through the water using their front flippers in a sweeping action. This builds up the muscle in the chest and shoulders, which means that they can support all of their weight on just their two front flippers. Now Merlin weighs about 120 kilograms, so up you go, Merlin. Let's have all of that weight on just those two front flippers. That was beautiful. Good boy. Now something that sea lions are very good at is catching. They do have very quick reflexes. They've got that long, flexible and streamlined body shape too. This enables them to move through the water at a top speed of 15 to 20 miles an hour, and obviously very useful for chasing and catching the fish, squid, eel and octopus that makes up their diet. Now we don't have any live fish for Merlin to catch. This has all been frozen and then defrosted, so we're going to use these hoops instead to show you his excellent catching skills. Now hopefully he'll strike out that long flexible neck in pretty much any direction in order to make the catch. Now sea lions have got what is known as binocular vision, which is two eyes facing forward just like us, which makes them very good at judging distance and speed, and hopefully catching all 5 hoops over their head like so. Good boy. Well done. Now we caught those very well, so what we're going to do now is move on and make the exercise a little bit more tricky. I'm going to add a twist to each hoop, and this way he has to adjust his head right at the last second so that the hoops don't bounce off of his nose. Now not only are they harder for him to catch like this, but they're harder for me to throw as well. But we'll see how we get on. Are you ready, Merlin? There's one. Now every time that Merlin catches a hoop, he has to check over his shoulder to make sure that it's gone over his head. He's the only sea lion here that does this, but he does it every single time. Good boy. Go on, can we make it a perfect score? Oh, we can. Look at that. Look at that. Very well done. Good boy. Now, something that sea lions are famous for is a bit of balancing, and it is an activity that's seen in many sea lion shows around the world, and that's because it's an activity that keeps them occupied for a very long time. It can take them about 2 to 3 years to pick up this skill in its most simple form, which is us standing in front of the sea lion, placing the basketball on their nose and asking them to hold it there for just 1 or 2 seconds. However, Merlin's been practicing balancing now for about 9 years, so he should be able to catch the ball if I throw it to him. Are you ready, Merlin? Concentrate. Catch that. Oh, don't drop it. Well done. Now he is always a bit wobbly when we first throw him the basketball, but you'll see in a few moments he'll keep his head much more still, and that means that he's got it under control. Now the secret to sea lions being able to balance is all in their whiskers. They do have about 50 bristly whiskers on their nose, and these are very sensitive to movements and vibrations. Now the whiskers aren't strong enough to hold the ball in place or move the ball, but they can feel which way that ball is moving, and then the sea lion adjusts their head to stop it from falling. But obviously, in the wild, they don't use their whiskers to balance things on their noses. They actually use them naturally to help them find food. Now, when a fish swims, its tail moves the water behind it. Their whiskers detect these movements, which then lead to the fish. So even if the water is dark and murky, or the sea lion goes blind, they are still able to hunt and find their food, and it's all down to those whiskers. Now you can see he's getting control of that basketball, he's keeping his head much more still, so I'll take that back, Merlin. That was a lovely balance. Good boy. But once again, we have to move on and make the exercise more difficult. A big part of our job is not letting the animals get bored and teaching them new things or making existing activities even more difficult. Helps us to keep them stimulated. Now we can make balancing harder by adding a bit of movement. So Merlin, come down off of your stand and go and get that basketball for me. Now this is much more tricky because he's moving around and he also has to watch where he's going. But hopefully he can make it all the way back to his stand without ever dropping that basketball. And then he's back. Good boy. Very well done. Okay, now in just a second we're going to pop Merlin back into his dressing room. But before we do that, we've quickly got another sea lion to meet. But before we do that, Merlin, it's time for your grand finale, your backwards somersault, okay? So take your position there in the corner. In the corner. Thank you, Merlin. And he should throw his whole body, head over tail, out of the water, okay? Are we ready? 3, 2, 1. Off you go! Oh, that was a high one today. A lovely backwards somersault. Fantastic, Merlin. That was brilliant. Now that was pretty quick, and it is his favourite part of the show. Should we let him do it once more? Yeah, we'll let him show off once more. Go on then, Merlin. Take your position. Thank you. And let's see if you can make it as good as the first one. 3, 2, 1. Go! Another good one. A perfect demonstration of flexibility and speed. And more practice. Okay, so like I said, he's going to give you guys a lovely wave goodbye now, but he'll be back out at the end of the show. Please do give him one last clap as he leaves the stage. Come on then, Merlin, you do the thing. Okay, so the next sea lion that we're about to meet is called Clyde. And Clyde is the oldest and the largest sea lion that we have here. And he looks a little bit different to Merlin, although they are exactly the same species. However, Clyde is 22 years old, and he's our fully mature alpha male, okay? Out you come, Clyde. And yes, he is quite a big chap, okay? Now then, Clyde, over you come, up onto your stand. Take your time. Up you get. That's it. Greet your audience, give them a wave. Fantastic. Hopefully I can get a greeting too. I think I'll have a flipper shake, please, Clyde. It's lovely to see you. Thank you. Oh. And a lovely big smooch as well. That was quite disgusting. Now, Clyde joined us about 5 years ago from a park in Clyde. And he is a lovely sea lion to work with. For a big male, he is very friendly. So in that way, we are very lucky indeed. However, our Clyde, bless him, he's not the brightest of sea lions, and he doesn't do an awful lot. Oh, Clyde, don't worry. We'll show everybody what you can do, okay? And we'll start off with a bit of gymnastics. Now, you guys have already seen Merlin's front flipper stand. Clyde's is a bit more impressive because he weighs a whopping 40 stone, okay? So, Clyde, are you ready? Show everybody how strong you are. Up you go. That was fabulous. 20 years, and he still can't do it. He can't catch a hoop either. You throw a hoop towards him, and he just ducks out of the way. However, he can catch a basketball, he just doesn't use his nose. He prefers to use those big front flippers. Now, this is quite difficult for a sea lion, and my throwing is not the best. So if he manages this, please do give him a cheer, okay? Clyde, get your curling gloves on. That's a good start. Are you ready? Catch that. Oh, very nice. What was that? That was fantastic. Right, I'll take that. Alright, I'll work on that throwing. Now, there is another toy that Clyde loves to play with. And it's his favourite toy. He brought it with him all the way from Cleethorpes. I have it over here, and it's this. Okay? His red frisbee. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is not the most impressive thing in the world, but it's one of the few things that he does out here, and I'm hoping it'll improve my throwing. Okay? So, Clyde, can you catch the frisbee? Well done, good boy. Now let's have a game. Throw it back. Come on, Clyde, throw it back. Sometimes this happens. Clyde loves that frisbee so much that quite often he doesn't want to let it go. No, I don't want to end up in the pool. Please, Clyde, give it back. Please. Yeah, I've got no chance. He's much stronger and much more stubborn than I am. I found one way to get that frisbee from that sea lion when he's in a mood like this, and it is, of course, to swap it for a fish. Take the fish line and I'll take the frisbee, but well done for catching it. Okay, now I'm not going to push my luck with Clyde too much out here today. We're going to ask him to do one final thing for us. It's his grand finale to end the show. That is his high ball jump. Now, what he's got to do is power himself out of the water using those big front flippers of his to hit that pink ball there with his nose. Now, that is quite a big jump for a sea lion of his size. It does take a lot of effort, so please do join me in giving him a countdown from 3 to 1 and a cheer if he gets a whisker to it, okay? Now, a quick word of warning for anybody on the front row. That is a big sea lion. That is a lot of water. It all depends on how he lands. You have been warned. And we have recently adjusted the high ball, so it is closer to you guys than it is to me now. I used to always be the one to get splashed. It's your turn, okay? Are we ready? Nice and loud from 3, 2, 1, go! Can he do it for the first time today? You are a star. Take your applause. Okay, now we do hope that you've enjoyed meeting Clyde and Merlin here today. If you guys have any questions about the sea lions, do please come for a chat with myself or other members of staff. We can be found inside just through the double doors over there, where we've also got a small shop where we sell books and posters featuring the sea lions that you've seen here today, and the proceeds go back towards, well, mainly his fish, if I'm being honest. Now the other sea lions will be able to join Clyde in the main pool. We'll bring Merlin back out, and we'll also bring Marvin out as well. So please feel free to come inside and take a look at them all swimming around together. We've also got little Miguel. He's our smallest sea lion over in that corner pool over there. He's had the morning off, but he may be out in the shows later today. But from all of us here, thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.